Hello everybody, welcome back to the workshop. So today I am working on this 30-pound sledgehammer again. I'm engraving it, and I just figured I'd shoot a quick little video and give you guys some quick tips about engraving. So one of the things that you guys are seeing me do here right now is engraving is a very slow process. Now I'm using a very lightweight hammer. I'm using the equivalency of a 6-ounce little tiny hammer here. And I'm basically cutting a line. Now I've made videos on everything from this hammer that I'm using right now. I did that during a bunch of live streams a while back. And I made videos on how to make these little gravers. So I'll leave links to that up here in the cards. But I just wanted to take and show you guys a little bit of this process as I go along. And yeah, that's where we're at. So right now I'm just basically following my little layout line here. And one of the key things that you're looking for whenever you're engraving is keeping the chip thickness the same. So as you're coming along, you want to keep the chip thickness the same. Now if you get a little squirrely with your engraving, it's okay, because you're going to have to make a second pass on this anyhow to clean everything up. But you want to go ahead and do it, do it the best you can right off the bat. But if you can't keep it perfect, well, it's okay. It's going to be a very small, minute detail, as long as it doesn't show up like crazy in the final result, the final piece. You'll have to come back through. Like I said, if you get off track and you need to you need to engrave the piece back or whatever, just take another cut on it, and that'll usually clean up whatever little wonkiness that you guys had going on there. Now the type of engraving that I'm doing is just a hammer and chisel engraving here. So there's a little graver in my hand, and I'm using a hammer to tap on it. Now there's other types, usually done in a lot softer metals. It's called push gravers, and they're like little pneumatic engravers. And so basically you just set the piece on, and as soon as you start pushing, it starts kind of jackhammering back and forth. It starts hammering the actual graver. But yeah, so we're just looking for the same chip. You want to keep really nice light blows as you go around this piece. I hope that you guys can see this. Yeah. Yep, you can see this. You want to keep nice, even, consistent blows. I like to use a little bit of thumb pressure. And then make sure you keep the pitch of your graver the same. And get anything out of your way that's blocking your view. Now one of the other things, for accuracy standpoint, it is easier, or I feel that it is easier when engraving, to hammer back towards yourself. So always be tracing this back towards yourself. It allows you to stay on the line a lot easier. Versus if you go away from yourself, you can't see the line that you're cutting. You can only see where you can only see what you've left behind. And that's a bad thing when you're trying to actually engrave it to a pattern. So you want to be able to see the line where you're going and be able to inspect the chip to know that you're leaving a good, tail line behind you, that the groove is deep enough or is consistent. And now this is far from being like the most perfect, accurate way of doing engraving, and I am far from being a perfect engraver here. But this will work for this 30-pound hammer. So I'll make one pass around, I'll make one pass on everything, and then I'll come back and I'll clean everything up with a second pass. And if it needs it, I'll go ahead and do a third pass on it. Hopefully it won't need a third pass, and we're just good to go with these first, with the first two passes. There we go. So we completed that line on around. You guys can see that. So it's a long process. It can be very soothing after a long day of forging to kind of set this in on the end of the day kind of deal. you know, and just take your time, listen to some tunes, you know, relax. This is a great thing for the hottest portion of the day. You know, you can sit and get cooled down. And a lot of times I don't sit. I like to have my body in motion so I can constantly move around with the piece. And with this, also another thing you'll see me here doing is I'm not using an engraving vise. That's another point I'd like to point out there. I'm not using an engraving vise because this thing's huge. And basically it's 30 pounds against this little tiny chisel. It's not going to go anywhere. It doesn't shift around. So that's a good thing. So anyways, just wanted to take and give you guys some quick little things there. Let me back this out a little bit. So for this particular hammerhead, I'm going to be doing a little pattern, a little design. After I get all my engraving done, I'm actually going to come in here, I'm going to chase in roping so you guys can get a little sneak peek of how that's going to look. Show you what that looks like. It's a very crude drawing of roping. It'll be drawn a lot better than this, obviously. But I'm going to chase in some roping right here on these edges. Like so. So that's going to kind of complete that, and that's going to go all the way around the octagonal cross section of this hammer to really just kind of tie in where the hammer handle's going through versus the faces. And right now we're sitting at exactly 30 pounds, so it's a good thing. I think the customer will be happy, and it should go very well at a circus. So anyways, that's it for today. Hope you all enjoyed. Sorry if I rambled too much. Just figured I'd bring you a little bit on the road here and share a quick tip about, you know, the type of engraving that you can get done with fairly basic tools. Just a simple hammer and chisel. That's, without further ado, I'm going to get back to this. You guys get back to your day. God bless you, as always, and we'll catch you on the next one.